Hello and welcome. I'm Grant Swallows, the Director of Schools in Warren County, and glad to have you here today to talk about some things that are going on in Warren County schools and all that we're providing and options that we're providing for Warren County students. It's rapidly heading toward the 2023-2024 school year, and we've worked really hard to provide all sorts of options and different things for our students to be able to be successful in Warren County. And so one of those things is the establishment of a virtual school program. We're very thrilled to have Warren Connect, and that began 2 years ago, and we're looking to expand that program. And so I'm thrilled to be joined today by Dr. Courtney Bennett, who is our Director of Virtual Learning, and she oversees the program at Warren Connect. And so we have had conversations internally that our community or our students or our families might not even be aware of what Warren Connect is and what it offers. And so again, our goal today is to spend a little time talking about that and then providing our community with resources related to potentially virtual learning or the opportunity to potentially enroll at Warren Connect. So Dr. Bennett, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here today. Let's talk a little bit about virtual education. A lot of people's only experience with that is related back to a couple of years ago during the pandemic. So talk to us a little bit about what Warren Connect is and virtual education, and tell us what Warren County has to offer.
Okay, so currently right now we serve grades 6 through 12 in the virtual setting. And those students basically have a schedule that looks exactly like what they would have if they were in the regular classroom setting. So if you're, say, a ninth grader and you're taking your full load of courses here at Warren County High School, where we're filming today, when you transfer to Warren Connect, your schedule is going to look exactly the same way. The only difference is all of your courses are online, and you will have a virtual teacher who you will work with independently, and you'll complete your courses for graduation. We also have the opportunity to work with families who want a true homeschool experience, and we serve those families in grades K-8. Many of our families who are enrolled right now with, say they came to us from the private independent homeschool setting, they'll come and enroll with us, and it's such a better deal for the families because we do not charge them like a private corporation for homeschool. And so the family gets the benefit of not having to pay for that. At the same time, through our partner with Tech Trip Academy, our families actually are given a $1,700 per year stipend to buy educational materials for their child. And that actually works out really great. The families can opt to buy a 3D printer, iPads, maybe even take piano lessons. So, the opportunity for that enrichment is there with the homeschool side of what we do at Warren Connect. So
basically, we're saying that this is not the traditional model of what what most people think of school. Waking up, getting to a school building,
Correct.
Having a bell, and all the things that take place. So tell us a little bit about what a day might look like in the life of a Warren Connect student.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's just take I'm an old high school teacher, so let's go back to the ninth grade setting. And so if you're a ninth grader, the neat part about virtual is you are not having to automatically log on at 7:45 a.m. each morning. The hours are flexible. We do require that our students spend 4.5 hours per day logged on and being active in their coursework. So their schedule looks a little bit different. For instance, say if a student works part-time, they may opt to work half a day somewhere in the community at a job, and then complete their courses in the afternoon online. So it is definitely not a 7:45 until 3 p.m. Setting. It's more flexible. As long as the student completes the work in a 24-hour period, they're good to go, and they're on pace, and they're making progress.
So you have staff and teachers that are watching that,
Yes.
communicating with students,
Yes.
making sure they're logged on,
Absolutely.
and getting help with
Yes.
any potential coursework that they need.
Correct, yes. We have teachers who look at where the students are every day. Either myself or our guidance counselor, Miss Kathy Uten, or Miss Jennifer Ritchie, actually follows the students and keeps up with their progress and monitors that data on a daily basis, because our students are actually still, even though they're virtual, they still have to meet attendance requirements. And so if they do not complete the 4.5 hours per day, and they don't stay on pace, and they don't make progress, then they are actually counted absent, just like a student in the regular setting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about the options that they have. So all students have options to what kind of courses?
Yeah, the same courses. We can actually offer dual enrollment classes. All of our grades 6, 7, and 8, all the classes are identical. They match exactly what they would have in the lower levels.
So English, math, social studies.
Yes, science, all of that. We offer everything. Once they hit the high school level, we have the honors courses, the AP Access for All, just like the students would take here at the high school. The dual enrollment, that's a big thing with our kids. They enjoy that. We do have a partnership with Montlow and also with TCAT. Our students can actually work with Montlow if they're interested in information technology, IT courses. They can train and do a certification program with Montlow, and they can come out, once they're finished with that, and they can actually get a job, help desk information, anything like that. And the neat part is, while our students are pursuing that, Montlow actually pays them $15 an hour to pursue that certification and that credential. So that's something we're really excited about. Our high school kids can also opt to take programs, courses of anything they're interested in, from barbering to electrical, computer science with TCAT. And so we've actually had some success with that. The first year we worked with that, we had one student who completed her cosmetology certification through TCAT while she finished her high school diploma at Warren Connect. So lots of exciting things in the upper grades for sure.
Yeah. So I believe you've had a Google certified student as well?
Yes, we actually have 2 this year who are seniors right now, and they are both certified Google help desk, information help desk. So we're really happy about that.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah,
they
we
could
need
be
to put
employable.
them to work.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
So again, going back to talking about the fact that people, our families are choosing or wanting to choose some different options potentially. Let's talk a little bit about the fact of the decision that we made a couple years ago to go this route.
Right.
Obviously, we're dealing with a different environment. At that time, we were dealing with COVID and some sickness. We're also dealing with just families that are expressing a desire to want to potentially do something different.
Right.
So what does this program at Warren Connect give them the opportunity to do?
Yeah, I think it's all about that flexibility, honestly. We have had a couple of our students, they, like I said, they work part-time, and that was something they really wanted to be able to do, is complete their requirements for high school graduation while they worked. Maybe it was a necessity, maybe they needed to work, and so maybe they were already employed when they left the high school setting, traditional setting, and came to us. And so that freed up a little bit of time to go ahead and get them out there in the job market. And we're able to, be flexible in other capacities too. We have we have a couple of family members who maybe the child, the parents travel maybe for work, and so they're gone for a week at a time. So if the student leaves town and goes with their parent on that business trip or whatever, they can still do their coursework. And so they're still meeting the requirements, while they're out of town. So it's really neat.
Yeah. And so some might say, okay, well, you've got some students in a traditional classroom setting. So is this work easier? Is it, are they skirting through?
No, and I can see where people might think that, because virtual, the connotation of it is sometimes like, okay, well, you must be getting off light, you know, and you're not having to meet your teacher every day. It's actually a lot harder because it is so self-paced, and the student has to be really self-disciplined in order to keep up with everything, because there's not a teacher there that's saying, okay, this is going to be due tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, they have to look at their course log and their calendar. And they have to really be, you know, mindful of that in order to keep up with everything. Or if not, it could possibly get away from them quickly.
Yeah. So there are deadlines, there's homework,
yes,
there are
homework.
tests, there is
Absolutely.
actually
Yes.
face-to-face instruction,
Yes.
well, not face-to-face, but virtual instruction, a teacher
yes.
that's online
Yes.
that you can watch that can happen that way.
Yes, and the students can actually make an appointment if they need extra help, and they can meet virtually through a Zoom meeting with that teacher,
Yeah.
and they can go over what's giving them problems. Maybe they have a hard time with math or something, and so they can actually drill down on that specific skill that the student is lacking. And so that's one of the neatest things. And our tutoring program is available until 11 p.m. at night. So our students can actually log in until, you know, pretty late in the evening and get that extra help. So
Yeah, great.
yeah.
So you talked about some options, and then you discussed a homeschool option. So I know that we have a partnership with Tech Trep Academy. So tell us a little bit about that, and maybe what's going on currently with that.
Right. So this year, we've actually served 70 students, 70 homeschool families. Those students were previously with independent, private independent homeschools outside of Warren County.
Right.
And so we advertised, you know, we went out to the community and kind of like proposed, hey, here's what we can offer. And so the families gravitated back into our district to take part in what we offer through Tech Trep Academy. And so we've actually seen that grow, and we're seeing growth for that next year. Right now I have 100 seats filled for next year. So we've had some growth. I actually have a wait list of, you know, probably double that right now. So, but the students can come to us, and like I said, the families don't have to pay for that. They do not have to pay a fee. So.
As in a traditional model,
Correct.
those homeschool folks might be paying for curriculum.
Exactly,
or
paying
something
for
like
curriculum,
that. Yeah.
yes. And so we don't charge for that.
Okay.
So that's a benefit to the families in the community. So.
Yeah. So if a Warren County homeschool family right now might be interested in that, they could potentially contact Warren Connect and enroll if we had some spots, and then they would be given this.
Right.
But I think one of the neat things about that is some of the things that Tech Trep does in the way of socializing and things like that.
Exactly.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so they're great about, you know, putting together field trips for the family, social interaction for the family. I've been really impressed with that. They've had trips to IMAX in Chattanooga. They've gone to the Pumpkin Patch here locally. They actually have a day where they go to the Capitol in Nashville, and they get to watch as the legislators, you know, pass bills, and you know, they go through all that process. And so it's really in depth what they do to try to give the students that social engagement and to make them be connected to the community as a whole.
Yeah. As a part of being in a public school system, though, there are some requirements for those. So I do know that they are doing our state testing.
Yes.
They're still required to do all the things that students normally do, even at Warren Connect, through a virtual classroom.
Right.
So talk to us a little bit about that.
Right. So either, I mean, if you're virtual or you're homeschool, you still have to come in and take the state test, just like if you were going to the regular brick and mortar classroom. You would take TCAP or EOCs, ACT, pre-ACT. We still have to bring them in for that. And so next week, that's what we're going to be doing. Our students will be coming in and starting the testing process next week. And so they'll come onto our campus and they'll sit for their test. And so, yes, they have to take everything just like they were a regular student.
Yeah. I know the state is really taking a serious look at virtual education. And I know you're involved heavily at the state level through different committees and being a member of some boards and things like that.
Right.
So talk to us a little bit about what you see the future of virtual education being, potentially in Tennessee or maybe even nationwide.
Yeah, so I think one of the major things right now is our governor is really focused on post-secondary education, and I really get the information I'm getting coming down from the state is that probably in the future we're going to be looking at more of that industry option, a diploma that's even focused on industry certification. And so that's something we just actually discussed yesterday when I met with the state yesterday. But Virtual, I think, is going to expand into that post-secondary world. And so I think that college to career readiness factor is definitely going to be there as we move forward. So,
and that's something you've already alluded to. So let's dissect that a little bit for those
Okay.
that might not understand what post-secondary looks like. So we talked about the fact that a student at Warren Connect last year took classes, the traditional English, math, whatever path they had chosen in high school.
Exactly.
But she was also at the same time enrolled at TCAT doing some work with
Right.
cosmetology. So that's post-secondary
Exactly.
exposure right
Exactly.
there. So you're saying that potentially might be the model, because that's the same thing at Warren County High School.
Right.
They're choosing a path of study,
Right.
but maybe with virtual, they're getting the opportunity to complete that coursework and then be maybe involved in a apprenticeship
Exactly.
or whatever. Is
Exactly.
that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
that's basically the gist of it. I think that, to have the student engaged at that level where they're already working on that certification and they graduate simultaneously with their high school diploma and they're, ready to go from TCAT with that certification in cosmetology or, welding or whatever it is that they may be interested in.
Yeah.
And so just to have them automatically ready to go into the workforce, I think that's something that's definitely coming down the pike.
Yeah.
That virtual is going to be pushed into that avenue a little bit more heavily than it has in the past. So.
Yeah. What would you say to a parent that's sitting here watching this saying, I don't know if virtual's for me. What supports do you provide to them? Or what if they called you on the phone and said, what does your program have to offer me? What would you tell them?
Yeah, I think, again, just going back to those options, the options for other opportunities that maybe they can expand through that flexibility portion of our program. The students that we have, they come for a variety of reasons. And so it's just a different modality of learning. And it can meet them where they're at, based on their family needs or their individual needs. And that's that personalized learning can really, focus on what the student is interested in. Where do they want to be when they leave the high school setting? And so we can start working with them on a pathway really early on in their careers. So.
Yeah. So also, I know you've got a graduation ceremony that comes up. So,
Yes.
Warren Connect is its own school.
Yes.
So it has its own opportunities for everybody, but they will graduate together, walk across the stage,
Right.
get the same diploma.
Right. Yes.
And so, I want everybody to understand that it feels like sometimes those two roads go a different direction, but really they're traveling a parallel
Yeah, exactly. And I'm glad you brought that up about our graduation and our diploma, because periodically we'll get phone calls from parents and they'll say, well, I want my child to have a regular high school diploma, not a GED.
Yeah.
And so that's definitely something I want people to understand is we don't offer a GED.
Right.
It is a regular high school diploma. It's going to say Warren Connect. It doesn't say issue from the state, or it's it's the real deal.
Yeah.
And so they can leave me and automatically go to college.
Sure.
I have
Same diploma
Same
as a student
diploma.
that walks across the stage at Warren County High School.
Absolutely.
It will be the exact same diploma.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So
So let's talk a little bit about if a student is interested in this, what would they do?
So right now, our application window is open for 23-24, and they can call our office. The phone number is 473-1025, or they can go onto Warren Schools website through warrenschools.com, and they can actually find a link to apply on there, or they can find us on Facebook at Warren Connect TN. And our application is live on there. They can fill that out, and then one of us will go through the application. One of my, either myself or someone in my office will go through there, and then we'll make contact with the parent and say, okay, here's where we're at, and go from there. So.
Yeah. And so, what I would say to families there is that we do have an application process simply because it is somewhat different. We do offer several of the classes through a vendor, which is ultimately a financial responsibility for the district. And so we have to, at some point, limit the enrollment because we have to be able to budget for that.
Right.
So I think a lot of folks think, well, it's just virtual and a computer, it should be able to do that. But it's one of those things that I think Dr. Bennett would be willing to take everybody if we would we'd let them. But at the same time, we have to limit that to an extent. But So any other thoughts around this program or anything you want to leave the families with?
We're just happy to talk to anyone who's interested in finding that, personalized option for their family and their student. I mean, we're more than happy to help. We have a wonderful guidance counselor and a great elementary instructional coordinator, and we're just glad to talk to anyone who wants to learn more. So.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your leadership. I appreciate that, being able to provide Warren County with some different options that we normally don't, we haven't had in the past. So again, I would say to our community, to our students and our family, we are here to serve you. We do the best we can to provide as many options, educational options as we can, and we're thrilled to have Warren Connect and all the things that it brings us. So if you're interested, please reach out to Warren Connect. You can also certainly call the central office and we can connect you from there. But we appreciate you taking the time to learn more about Warren Connect. Wish you the best and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.